Tameside Radio Sports Talk with Betfred. Visit your local Betfred shop today for a variety of great offers and check out our app for great features like Pick Your Punt Builder. Whenever you bet, Betfred. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Well, hello and welcome. This is Sports Talk with me, Lewis Connell, and as always, I'm joined by Peter Spencer from Betfred. How are you, Peter?
Yeah, great, no problems.
Fantastic. Well, we'll start with the Premier League then. It was a big win, of course, for United, a 3-0 win over West Ham, and that puts them back in the race for the top four, doesn't it?
It does. Well, they've moved into sixth place now. It is looking like it's going to be between City, Arsenal or Liverpool for the actual title. But that top four, the race for the top four finish is now livening up. Betfred now have Spurs at 4-5, so we still think they're odds on. Aston Villa, they slipped up now, they're evens, but United have been cut right back to 7-1 now. As I said before, it is looking like it's a limited success for United this season in terms of they've still got a chance of winning the FA Cup, of course. But a top four finish on the FA Cup might just be enough to keep the momentum going. And it was a tremendous performance. It was the anniversary of the Munich disaster, so it was great that the young ones should do so well, because that's what Sir Matt Busby and the whole club is based around, quality players coming through the academy. And those young players performed excellently. On Sunday against West Ham. It could have easily been more than that. I thought it was strange how poor Phillips played for West Ham. He certainly gave away one goal and he got caught a few times. Just shows how match fitness is more important than training ground fitness, because he did look completely off the pace in that rarefied atmosphere of Old Trafford, who gave him a traditional welcome.
Yeah, he looked well off it, didn't he, Phillips? But I think it is to do with match fitness as well. But obviously it was great pressing from McTominay as well to win the ball. And obviously Garnacho, I think he did get the man of the match award in the end, but wasn't just him. It was Højlund as well, getting his goal after taking 1,000 minutes of Premier League football to get his first one, and now he can't stop scoring.
Yeah, I might have actually changed my mind about him,
Yeah.
He does look a solid enough player. Older listeners might remember somebody called David Hurd. He used to always battle away and hardly get any reward, but he'd just get the odd goal. And the other players on the team, Pearson was like that as well, from the Doherty era. A player who would battle away and not necessarily get all the headlines, but certainly make a big difference, and he's well respected by his teammates because of the hard work he puts in.
Yeah, it's nice to see him finally getting some service, and he's showing why we paid so much money for him.
Yeah. There's that celebration as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, of course. The three of them sat on the board. Quite an iconic photo. It might come to be in a few years. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I thought the commentator was very odd when he said that he thought it was a Holy Trinity, linking that image with Best Law and Charlton. I mean, talk about getting a bit giddy. It was a strange thing to say, and right over the top, because those players and everybody associated with Manchester United will know they've got to do a lot more than beat West Ham 3-0 to get into that rarefied company of Best Law and Charlton. I mean, world-class players, wherever you go in the world, and you say you're from Manchester, they want to talk about, did you know Bobby Charlton? Do you know Dennis Law? What about George Best? I mean, these are massive, massive superstar players, and those United players who sat on the wall for that great picture will know. They don't need me telling them. We've got to do a lot more to get linked with them or compared with those three great players.
Yeah, I think they went a little bit far with that one. But we'll move on to the other game that was massive in the title race. Obviously, Arsenal and Liverpool. Arsenal winning that 3-1, and they're right back in with a shout of winning the title from that.
Yeah, well, they have come in. They're still not second favourites with Betfred. They've certainly ignited it, made it much more of a three-way fight than a two-way fight. That result basically helped City. It pegged back Liverpool and brought Arsenal more into the frame. But what will stick in my mind was the mistake at the back with Van Dijk and Alisson, how they just messed it up. And then you think of Van Dijk was party to one of the other Arsenal goals as well, when it went through Alisson's legs. So the pair of them, two great players, both had bad days at the office, and that helped Arsenal to that win. I thought the celebrations from the Arsenal bench was extraordinary. I mean, you think they'd won not just the league, but the Champions League and the world title as well. They were just incredibly going crazy. I mean, it's all right celebrating, but just a little bit over the top.
I know.
I thought the referee had a cracking game as well, but of course Klopp has to have a pop at him as well. He has to link it to the referee's performance. He goes training at Simply Cricket Club, by the way. He goes legging it round there. And I said to someone who were watching it, I said, I'll give him a yellow card for that if he goes anywhere near the pitch in the middle, the square, because he wants to concentrate on his fitness. But he had a cracking game, Anthony Taylor. Yeah,
it was a decent game. I think that probably was a red card as well, the two yellows that were given. And yeah, I think he should be blaming his goalkeeper if he's going to blame anyone, Klopp, because he had a bit of a nightmare, like you say. And Van Dijk as well.
Never do that, would he? He's always got to have someone, usually the referee. And that has affected the odds at the top of the table for the winning the Premier League outright. Betfred have City 4-6, clear favourites. Liverpool 9-4 now. Arsenal 11-2, and then we've got Spurs 40-1. Aston Villa are slipping out a little bit now, 66-1. And United, they've been cut from 500-1 to 400-1 for the title. So it just shows what a difference that makes.
And there was obviously a big game at the bottom of the table as well. Luton, they drew 4-4 away to Newcastle. That was a crazy game, and that lifted them out of the relegation zone.
Yeah, it did, although Betfred still think it'll be the three promoted clubs who'll go straight back down. The odds for Sheffield United are now 1-66 to be relegated. They look absolutely doomed at the bottom. It won't be long before we stop taking bets on them. Burnley, they're 1-8. Luton making a bit of a fist of it. A significant result at the weekend at Newcastle, like you say. They're 4-5. And Everton, who are now in the bottom three, they're 3-1. So it's looking like it'll be 3 out of those 4 clubs, and probably Sheffield United, Burnley and Luton who will go back down, with Everton just scrambling clear again.
And just moving on to the Six Nations now, the odds have changed significantly with Ireland's great win on the opening night.
Yeah, it was quite an eventful first weekend of the Six Nations, some high drama. I thought England made hard work of beating Italy in Italy, but they just got themselves over the line by sheer professionalism in the second half. And then before that, Ireland, absolutely tremendous victory in Paris against France, who were the favourites at Betfred before a ball was kicked. And then we got a dramatic fight back by Wales against Scotland, and they almost pinched it at the end, but just fell short. So that first round of matches has quite dramatically affected the Betfred odds. We've now got Ireland the favourites, 1-4, so clear favourites. England have gone into second position in the list. They're 7-1 now, second favourites to lift the Six Nations. Scotland, they're 8-1, and on the slide big time are France, 16-1. Wales, they're on the slide as well, 66-1, and Italy have stayed the same, 250-1.
And just to finish, we've got a story on a winner. They've won £20,000 from a 20 pence bet.
Yeah, this is Derek Wells from Halifax. I spoke to him yesterday. He basically won 2 Irish lottery bets, both 10 pence. He got a 10p 4-fold and a 10p 5-fold. And as you say, he won himself virtually £20,000. He based his numbers on his granddaughter's birthday, which she was born in 2021, so that's 2 of the numbers. And then his other grandson was born on the 6th of September, so that was the 6 and the 9. And the date he was born was 2016. So you can see it's all a family affair for my friend Derek Wells, age 69, who used to work in the chemical industry. He found out whilst he was on holiday in India, and guess what he's doing with his money? He's just going to slap it on another holiday back in India, same time, at Christmas next year. So he's going back to India. He said it's great there because you can save on all the fuel bills. And it struck me that it was just maybe, a typical Yorkshireman.
Well, very well done to him, and all the best. And then obviously there's a big game tonight. Of course, it's Manchester City against Brentford. Brentford away, Brentford at home, of course, for that one. And Haaland might be fit enough to start that one.
Yeah, Brentford have become quite a bogey team for Manchester City, with the lots of free kicks that they pile in, and they seem to get a great joy from these. And I know that City have been practising how to combat that, the free kicks and corners that Brentford are able to produce, not just against City but against most teams. And last season, they were one of the few teams, I think possibly the only team, that did a double over City last year. So they'll be going into this game with all the warning bells ringing loud and clear. But it is looking like, according to the odds, a City victory. So City are 1-3 with Betfred to pick up all 3 points. Brentford 7-1. Now, for the first goal scorer, we've got Haaland, who you rightly say is going to be back. He's 9-4 to score the first goal. Alvarez 7-2, and Phil Foden 11-2. But you can't you can't go against Ivan Toney. He is 13-2 to get the first goal in the game. And we do have a special bet at Betfred that Haaland and Toney both to score. Well, that's 6-1, and that isn't a bad bet. Both of them two to score any time, 6-1. So for Brentford to win 1-0, as happened the last day of last season, that's 20-1 at Betfred. But City fans have been piling in, thinking it'll be 3-1, which in fact is the most popular scoreline bet at Betfred. So City to win 3-1, that's a 9-1 shot.
Yeah, it might be a good bet, that, to be fair, the Toney and Haaland one, because as good as City are, they do tend to always give you a chance at scoring, don't they? They often win, like when they battered Burnley the other week, they won 5-1. They always give you a bit of a chance, don't they? Yeah,
I think it's because of the changes that Pep Guardiola makes to utilise his squad against teams that he thinks he's going to railroad. So if he starts doing that again, then it might give Brentford a bit of hope, because there's nothing worse in professional football when you start changing the back line. That's why it's very rare for centre-halves to be substituted.
Well, thank you very much, as always, Peter, for joining us. And if you do fancy a bet on that game or anything else that we've discussed today, you can bet online on the app or in Betfred stores. And we'll see you at the same time on Friday.
Tameside Radio Sports Talk with Betfred. Visit your local Betfred shop today for a variety of great offers, and check out our app for great features like Pick Your Punts Builder. Whenever you bet, Betfred. 18+, begambleaware.org.